everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Screen. Now, one of my favorite parts about being a dungeon master is homebrew. Because while the official magic items in D&D are great, sometimes you want something that feels unique to your world. Something with history, something with story, something your players will remember long after the campaign ends. Today I'm showing you 5 homebrew magic items that I have personally created, their lore, how they work, and why I designed them the way I did. Some of them are powerful, some of them are cursed, and at least one of them our players will probably wish they never picked up. And without further ado, let's start with the first item. Alright, item number 1 is called the Lantern of Lost Whispers. This one is less about raw power and more about atmosphere. Now, according to legend, the lantern was crafted by a grieving cleric who refused to believe their loved ones were truly gone. Instead of letting the dead rest, they bound fragments of lingering spirits into a lantern made of silver and black glass. Now, when the lantern is lit, the air fills with faint whispers, voices of the dead trying to speak again. Some say, "Can I help you?" Now, when the lantern is lit, the air fills with faint whispers, voices of the dead trying to speak again. Some say the lantern offers guidance, others say it's a warning, because not every spirit trapped inside wants to help. Mechanically, the Lantern of Lost Whispers is a wondrous item that requires attunement, and when lit, the lantern sheds dim light in a 30-foot radius, and the spirits inside begin whispering to its wielder. And once per day when the lantern is lit, you can ask the spirits a question about the immediate area, and the DM gives a brief hint about hidden danger, nearby creatures, or something important that the party might be missing. But here's the twist. Every time you use the lantern, there's a 20% chance that the spirits lie, because not all of them are friendly. And there's one more small ability that I really like just for flavor. While holding the lantern, the user has advantage on checks to detect undead or lingering spirits nearby. So like the whispers would grow louder whenever something unnatural is close. I designed this item because I love magic items that create tension. It's useful, it gives the party information, but it also creates paranoia. Because every time the lantern speaks, the players have to ask themselves, can we truly trust it? And honestly, watching players argue over whether a magic lantern is lying to them is peak Dungeon Master entertainment. Alright, then moving on to item number 2 is called the Crown of the Last King. And this one has a lot more presence. Long ago, there was a king who refused to surrender his kingdom. Even as the walls fell and his armies collapsed, he stayed on the battlefield. Crown still on his head, sword still in his hand. The legend says he fought until the very last soldier fell beside him. When he finally died, the crown was recovered from the battlefield, still warm, still stained with blood. And ever since then, it's said that anyone who wears it can feel the king's unbreakable will pushing them forward. Mechanically, the Crown of the Last King is a wondrous item that requires attunement, and while wearing the crown you gain a +1 bonus to your armor class. But the real power of the crown shows itself when things start going wrong. Once per long rest, when you drop below half of your maximum hit points, the crown awakens, and for the next minute, you gain advantage on saving throws against fear, and temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus at the start of each of your turns. The crown doesn't really make you stronger, it makes you refuse to fail. And there's a small flavor effect I love adding as well. While the crown's power is active, faint spectral soldiers appear behind the wearer, echoes of the fallen army that once fought beside the king. They don't attack, they don't speak, but they stand with you. I designed this item because I love gear that rewards heroic moments. It doesn't trigger when things are easy, it triggers when the fight is almost lost. It turns desperation into determination, which makes for some incredible cinematic moments at the table. Now, moving on to number 3 is where things get a little bit darker. This one is called the Ring of the Second Chance. And at first glance, it sounds honestly amazing. The story says that the ring was created by a desperate wizard who feared death more than anything. He spent years researching ways to cheat fate, and eventually, he succeeded. The ring could pull its wearer back from the brink of death. But magic like that always comes with a price, because death doesn't like being cheated. Mechanically, the Ring of the Second Chance does require attunement, of course, and if the wearer would drop to 0 hit points, the ring activates automatically. Instead of falling unconscious, the wearer drops to 1 hit point and immediately regains 2d8 hit points. Basically, it saves your life. But here's the problem. Every time the ring saves you from death, it marks your soul. Each time the ring activates, the wearer gains 1 death mark. The marks never go away, and the more marks you have, the closer death gets to reclaiming to what it was owed. For every death mark, you suffer a -1 penalty to death saving throws, and undead creatures seem strangely aware to you. And once you reach 3 death marks, something begins following you, and the DM decides what that something is. I designed this item because I love to curse items that feel tempting. At first it's incredible, it literally saves your life. But the more you rely on it, the worse things get. Hello? Can I help you? The more you rely on it, the worse things get. And eventually the player has to make a choice. Do you keep the ring that protects you, or destroy it before the debt comes true? And if you're a DM, this item is a gold mine for future story hooks. Alright, item number 4 is probably the most chaotic item on this list. This one is called the Coin of Unfortunate Luck. And it does exactly what it sounds like. The coin is said to have belonged to a gambler who cheated fate one too many times. According to the story, he won every bet, every game, every wager, until the day fate decided to start cheating back. When the gambler finally vanished, the coin was all that remained, and now it carries a strange kind of luck. The kind that's never entirely on your side. Mechanically, this item is pretty simple. Once per day, you can flip the coin after failing an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check. When you flip it, call heads or tails. If you guess correctly, you can re-roll the failed roll and take the new result. But, if you guess wrong, something unfortunate happens. DM can roll on a small chaos table that they can customize themselves, and things like you drop the item you're holding, your weapon flies 10 feet away, you trip and fall prone, your next roll has disadvantage, a loud magical noise alerts nearby creatures. Nothing instantly deadly, but always inconvenient. I designed this item because I love magic items that create unpredictable moments. The player always has a choice. Do you accept the failure, or risk making things even worse? And honestly, players almost always flip the coin. And when they do, boy, it gets extremely interesting. Alright, the final item on this list is easily the most powerful one. This is called the Heart of the Fallen Star. And it's not just a magic item, it's an artifact. Centuries ago, a star fell from the sky. When it struck the earth, it shattered the land around it and left behind a glowing crystal pulsing with impossible energy. Scholars believe it wasn't just a meteor, it was a fragment of something cosmic. Something not meant for this world. The crystal was eventually cut down into a small shard, the Heart of the Fallen Star, but even in that smaller form, its power is overwhelming. It doesn't just channel magic, it amplifies it. The Heart of the Fallen Star is a wondrous item that requires attunement by a spellcaster. While attuned to the heart, you gain a +2 bonus to your spell attack rolls and spell save DC. But the real power of the artifact is something called Starlight Surge. Once per long rest, when you cast a spell of 5th level or lower, you can channel the heart's energy. When you do, the spell is automatically treated as if it were cast 2 levels higher, without using a higher spell slot. The spell erupts with cosmic energy, filling the air with radiant starlight. But the heart carries something a little bit strange to it. Whenever Starlight Surge is used, the sky above briefly darkens, even during the day, and faint constellations appear overhead. Some scholars believe that when the heart is used, something in the cosmos notices. I designed this item to feel like a true artifact. Something incredibly powerful, but also something that attracts attention. If a player carries this, they're not just holding a strong magic item, they're holding a piece of cosmic history. And powerful things tend to draw powerful enemies. Which means whoever holds the Heart of the Fallen Star probably won't stay hidden for long. And those are 5 homebrew magic items that I have created. Some powerful, some dangerous, and some that are probably going to cause absolute chaos at the table. Let me know in the comments which one you'd actually give to your players, and which one would completely break your game. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot more than you might think. And if you like D&D discussions, DM advice, homebrew ideas, and the occasional chaotic story from behind the DM screen, consider subscribing. We've got a lot more coming. This has been Behind the Screen, where the dice roll low, the panic is real, and the stories are always worth it. I'll see you next session.